Ever since the fall of Adam and Eve, human beings, because of the effects of original sin, are creatures that are filled with inner conflict. And I remember when I was going through my own vocational discernment, I felt a real sense of inner conflict because I'd say to myself, I want to do God's will, but at the same time, I don't want to be a priest. And I remember reflecting on the 21st chapter of St. John's Gospel. I found that very helpful. And it's the scene where Jesus is walking with St. Peter along the Sea of Galilee, and this is after the resurrection. And Jesus says to Peter, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and go where you wanted. But when you grow old, someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. And our Lord was saying this to St. Peter in order to reveal to St. Peter how he would die, how he would die in order to glorify God by his martyrdom. He would, in effect, die the same death as his master, as by crucifixion, except Peter would be crucified upside down. And it's a pretty intense thing to say, and I'm sure it's a very intense thing to hear. And I'm sure it gave Peter some pause. But the key to the passage is that before that, our Lord asks Peter 3 times if he loves him. He says, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And he says it to him 3 times. And Peter each time confesses, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And it's then that the Lord gives him his mission, feed my sheep. So it's only after Peter confesses that love for our Lord that Jesus tells him this hard thing and gives him his mission. So if you're experiencing inner conflict, if this idea of priesthood is something that's on your mind and in your heart, but you have some inner turmoil where you say to yourself, I desire to do God's will, but I don't really want to be a priest. Well, then the question you really should be reflecting on is, do you love me? Do you love Christ? Because as you reflect and wrestle with that question more and more, those conflicts that may be within you, those conflicting desires, they start to merge and the conflict melts away so that you can look at the call with fresh eyes, look at the priesthood with fresh eyes and see it for the extraordinary and beautiful thing that it is, and see it perhaps as the deepest desire of your heart.